Imagine the deafening roar of engines slicing through the sky, the acrid scent of gunpowder lingering as missiles howl towards their targets. Could a single upgrade flip the balance in a brutal war, humiliating Russia's relentless drone swarms? In this shadowy conflict, Ukraine's American-built fighter jets have become vital guardians, swarming the skies to obliterate waves of drones and missiles, and even striking Russian strongholds. But now, these F-16 jets are leveling up with devastating enhancements, amplifying their precision and deadliness. Russia, you think you're hidden? Think again. These upgrades will expose your weaknesses, shattering your dominance before you even sense the danger. How? Pull back the curtain on December 5, when US 24 media uncovered sightings of Ukraine's F-16 craft, adorned with unexplained gear. What secret gear? Advanced targeting systems enabling a barrage of armaments, topped by a US precision rocket launcher. Easier, cheaper strikes against Russian Shahed drones loom. Picture a pilot's gloved hands gripping controls, heart pounding as alarms beep in the cockpit. An image from AVOFN Telegram channel shows the setup, F-16 AMBN lifting from 107 UAC, armed with AM-9X, ANA-EKI U-33 sniper pod, plus LAU-131 Hydra 70 APKWS-2, capable of carrying up to 14 of these. Ideal for shredding drones and minor threats, saving costly air-to-air missiles. Vague details, true. Yet the core revelations? Sniper pods and APKWS-2 rockets. Dive into the rockets first. Each pod cradles 7 of these thriftier beasts, packing a punch. Why? The name says it, Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System. Blunt, brutal designation. Made by BAE Systems since 2012, these are pinpoint lethal, crucial for Ukraine. 7mm rockets crafted with US backing, problem-solving magic, point-and-shoot simplicity, minimal crew training, zero upkeep. Versatile strikes on static or speeding goals. Semi-active laser guidance. Fins and wings extend range. F-16 crews can pummel from afar, evading eyes. U.S. Naval Air Systems Command details an affordable destroyer, cutting collateral chaos. Fused with a 12-point high-explosive warhead reused from outdated munitions, compatible with A-10, AV-8B, H-1W, UH-1 Yahoo Hellos. Add F-16 to the fleet. Rockets zoom at 1,000 meters per second, nearly 2236 miles per hour, Mach 3 speed. Near impossible to intercept. Range threshold, 11,000 meters, about 6.8 miles, beyond sight but risky near defenses. Ukraine likely deploys against Russia's drone floods. The US snapped up $1.7 billion in these 55,000 units for Navy, Army, foreign buyers. Hints of Ukraine access? Speculative, yet clear, APKWS-2 isn't solo strong enough. Enter the targeting pod's essential partners. Euro-Mideast press identifies them as ANA-EKI U-33 sniper pods, massive edge for sniping Russian Shahed and far-ranging drones. Infrared detection spots low-flying threats traditional radars miss. Feel the pilot's cold sweat as infrared cameras capture thermal blurs, daytime lenses pierce any hour's assault. Joined by F-16 radars and countermeasures. Cost? $2 million each, a hefty dip, true. But it boosts $35,000 APKWS-2 accuracy. Long-term savings could hit millions. Defensive prowess, pods detect Shahed heat from rotors or engines, hotter than earth below, spotting miles off. Pilot tracks, closes in, eradicates with rockets. Offensive twist? Modern press notes pilots can fight sans radar, dodging detection. Russian receivers won't locate you via waves, safer from missiles. Opens covert raids on known Russian spots, radar silent. Ukraine's combo upgrade makes jets deadlier, but is death the aim? Probably not yet. Pods and rockets offer cheap counters to Shahed swarms, bypassing strained defenses. You see, Russian Shahed costs plummet, $300,000 in 2022 to $70,000 now, maybe $50,000 launch for an Iskander's price. Ukraine's F-16 shoot them down. But standard armaments? Steep. IM-9X Sidewinders cost $400,000 each, money drain per kill. Russia profits, costing Ukraine $330,000 to $350,000 per down Shahed. Now introduce APKWS-2, just $35,000. Ahead financially. Sure, sniper pod splash evokes millions sunk. Yet break-even comes after frying 57 to 133 Shaheeds. That math? Game changer. Stick around, details await that'll blow your mind on Ukraine's cost-crushing future. Ever feel the dread as drones buzz unseen, their mechanical drone vibrating the air? What if your defenses just got neutralized overnight, turning the tide with a whisper? After unveiling Kyiv's thrilling jet enhancements, targeting pods crack Russia's drone empire, blending infrared slights with laser precision for cheaper, lethal chops. But here's the jaw drop: the pod's infrared eyes pierce the veil, exposing Shaheed heat trails miles away, hotter than the cold ground beneath. Pilots, gloved and focused, sense the cockpit's tense hum as cameras zoom, daytime or night, relentless surveillance. That's not all. These add to F-16's radar web encounters. Pricing's a bitter pill, $2 million per pod diverts funds. How? It sharpens $35,000 APKWS-2 rockets, slashing long-run costs, potentially millions saved. Defensively, pilots spot Shaheed via engine heat, track solitarily from afar, blast with accurate fury. Feel that electric charge when locks-on succeed? No switching radars keeps them veiled. Russian detectors can't triangulate, sparing exposure to missiles. What's humbling Russia more? Stealth raids could target known enemy bunkers, radars off the grid. Ukraine's bundle, pods minus rockets, amps lethality, yet focus might stay defensive. Why? The pods and projectiles are fiscal saviors against Shaheed hordes and evading projectiles, demanding cost-effective repels. Russian Shaheed prices tumbled, $300,000 in 2022 to $70,000 now, some whisper $50,000. Swarms cost less than an Iskander. F-16 down them, but standard missiles? Expensive, yes. IM-9X Sidewinders hit $400,000 apiece. Each kill burns $330,000 to $350,000, enriching Russia. Enter APKWS-2, $35,000 each. Superior economics. Pods upfront million bytes, but break even after 57 to 133 Shaheeds. The math screams efficiency. How will this reshape the skies, wrenching victory from ruin? As upgrades ignite surprise assaults, could Ukraine's jets now tease Russia's collapse without a shot fired? Wrapping the pod's vision, heat signatures exposed, costs recouped in kills, weaving Ukraine's aerial armor tougher than steel. Next twist? These aren't mere shields, they're unleashed savagery. But why save millions from drone debris while Moscow tosses cheap ones? Let's dissect. Shaheed waves cost fragments versus missiles, coercing Ukraine's response. F-16 swat them, yet IM-9X Sidewinders devour $400,000 each. Ouch, Russia nets $330,000 to $350,000 per down. Not anymore. APKWS-2 rockets, $35,000, turntables. Pods $2 million spree? Payback via 57 to 133 drones. Feel the fiscal fist clenching tight. Yet feverish air rattles. What's the real upheaval? How have professors prophesied Ukraine's skies no longer drone battlegrounds? External beats harsher, feel sweat trickling brows. Tonight, Ukraine's might dances above Russian dread. What unforeseen unraveling approaches? In the sleek skies over Ukraine, a game-changing upgrade whispers defeat for Russia's relentless drone swarms. Ukraine's F-16 fighters, once called game-changers, now boast advanced sniper pods and deadly APKWS-2 rockets that can fire 7 per pod. These transformations promise not just defense, but precision annihilation that could shatter Moscow's aerial assaults. But how does a mere name reveal the icy grip of superiority tightening around Russia's neck? Imagine squeezing the trigger of war, where accuracy doesn't just kill, it humiliates. The APKWS, short for Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, slams home a blunt truth: this isn't fancy tech, it's engineered slaughter. Built by BAE Systems in 2012, these wonders marry razor-sharp accuracy with lethal force, a lifeline for Ukraine's embattled skies. Picture a soldier's hand on a 70mm rocket, crafted in tight alignment with the US government, a response to battlefield screams for a fix. The US spotted the chaos and demanded a cure. BAE Systems delivered, a point-and-shoot beast that demands minimal training and zero upkeep. No endless drills, just unleash the storm. This versatile titan strikes both idle foes and sprinting adversaries, guided by semi-active lasers that lock on like a predator's gaze. Folded wings and sleek fins grant it reach, letting F-16s obliterate from beyond the horizon, dodging Russia's watchful eyes. Dive deeper with NavAir from the U.S. Naval Air Systems Command. They hail the APKWS-2 as a bargain bin of destruction, minimizing friendly fire's bitter fallout. Its warhead. A potent high-explosive legacy from scrapped arms, packs a punch without excess waste. Compatible with A-10 Thunderbolts, AV-8B Harriers, AH-1W Supercobras, and UH-1Y Venoms, it welcomes F-16 Block 15S into the fold. Speed? Blasting at 1,000 meters per second, roughly 2,236 miles per hour, near Mach 3, an unstoppable blur defying interception. Range? Thrilling. BAE Systems specs claim 11,000 meters, about 6.8 miles for fixed-wing beasts like the F-16. Far enough to evade naked eye detection, yet risky near Russia's radar nests. Ukraine shrugs off the peril, eyeing these rockets as salvo-savers against drone hordes and stray missiles slipping through defenses. Could this be the twist where Russia's cheap waves crash against smarter steel? Stick tuned. What if Ukraine's pinpoint strikes expose a fatal weakness in the Kremlin's drone empire, leaving them begging for air? The air hums with tension, the scent of high explosives lingering like victory's foretaste, every launch a tactile jolt of power in the pilot's grasp. How will Russia's forces feel the burn of this invisible storm? You've got to wonder, will humiliation be their reckoning? We previously explored the APKWS-2 rocket's blinding speed, nearly Mach 3 per hour. It blasts at 1,000 meters per second, making defense nearly impossible. BARA system specs reveal a threshold range on fixed wings like F-16, 11,000 meters. That's about 6.8 miles. Well beyond what the eye can see. Ever wondered if a cheap rocket could grind Russia's mighty drone hordes to dust, humiliating their endless swarms in a single, fiery roar? Picture the pilot's grip tightening on the controls, the sharp beep of targeting locks piercing the cockpit's tension. Will this upgrade shatter Moscow's air dominance, or ignite an unseen storm? Yet flying beyond sightlines carries dangers. Ukraine risks its F-16s lighting up Russian radar screens, alerting choppers like Yak-38 or Yak-141. But who cares? These rockets will obliterate waves of drones and missiles raining down weekly. We'll unpack the chaos later. America loves its creation. In August, the U.S. Armed Forces splashed out $1.7 billion. That hauls in 55,000 APKWS-2s to Navy, Army, and Allied buyers per Army recognition. Those approved partners? Likely a wink to Ukraine, flooding them with ammo against Russia. Yet the rocket alone falters against drones. It craves those targeting pods spotted on upgraded jets. Euromaidan Press calls them ANAQ-33 sniper pods. They supercharge strikes on Shahed swarms and far-flung drones, a torrent of tech the West pours in. Key trait? Infrared heat hunters. They snag drones skimming ground level, invisible to old radars. Feel the engine's scorching plume, hotter than Earth below. Infrared cams link with high-fidelity daylight ones. They track assaults at dawn or dusk, no escape. These cams bolster the jet's radars and electronic noise jamming kit. Expensive? Each pod hits $2 million, a hefty purge. But they sharpen $35,000 APKWS-2 lasers, pinpoint hits that shatter savings. Ukraine shells out millions up front, yet breaks even fast. Crush 57 to 133 Shaheeds, per cost diffs we'll detail soon. Profits explode. Defensively, pilots crave Shahed heat trails on screens. Chase, close in, unleash APKWS fury. That infernal buzz of propellers fades into screams? Bonus perk, pilots dodge radar use. Russia's receptors lose F-16s among the skies, evading long-range bursts. Stealth creeps in, for assaults on Russian nests too. Imagine the terror of silent strikes, no beeps betraying location. Ukraine welds these upgrades into deadlier beasts. But lethality waits. Focus pivots to thrifty defenses now, sniper pods and APKWS cripple cheap Shaheeds, and missiles slipping other nets. Ukraine demands affordable shields. F-16s devour Shaheeds with pricier arms, bleeding gold. A single Russian drone? $50,000 to $70,000. Match that to a 293,000 Iskander, mass cheap wave swarm. Standard jets pummel them, effective yet wasteful. Sidewinders on F-16s? 400,000 each, per air remind in press. One downs a Shahed? Leaves Ukraine 330 to 350,000 down, per drone cost. Then APKWS-2s slide in. 35,000 per laser beast, 15 to 35 grand profit. Yes, millions on pods devour upfront. Still, pulverize 57 to 133 drones, payback complete. As Ukraine hones this edge, what if Russia counters with unholy surprises? The skies tremble, revenge brewing in the east. Imagine the roar of engines slicing through the night sky, those sleek F-16s, guardians of the horizon, now armed with eyes that pierce the darkness. High-fidelity daytime cameras and infrared sensors let pilots detect threats day or night, bolstering radars and countermeasures already humming on board. But at what price does such power come? These advanced targeting pods, they aren't inexpensive. Each one costs about $2 million. Ukraine pours in massive funds to equip them. Yet, picture the payoff. They sharpen the aim of those $35,000 APKWS-2 laser-guided rockets. Upfront spending, it could shield millions in future savings. Hang on tight, we'll break down the numbers soon, revealing why this shifts everything for Ukraine's defense. On the front lines of protection, these pods let an F-16 pilot sense a Shahed drone's glow. Heat from its engine or whirring propeller rises like a feverish pulse. If that signature burns brighter than the earth beneath, the infrared camera locks on from miles away. The pilot simply follows, closes in, and unleashes the APKWS-2 to end the threat. Feels like a hunter's precision strike, doesn't it? But wait, there's a hidden edge here. Sources whisper of another boon, one that could redefine bold moves ahead. A pilot relying on the sniper pod as main guide, flies silent, radar off. Why risk it? Russian listeners pounce on active signals, tracing F-16s midair, inviting deadly long-range replies. Pods alone cloak the jets in shadow, frustrating enemy defenses during drone hunts. Even better. They open doors to sneaky raids on fixed spots, radars bypass like ghosts in the mist. Ukraine's upgrades blend into a force deadlier than dreams, yet survival, not sheer might, drives the urgency now. These pods and rockets? They promise smart, wallet-friendly shields against Shahed swarms, and maybe stray missiles slipping through nets. Ukraine craves affordable answers. Past F-16 tools drain fortunes chasing them down. A lone Shahed, or kin, builds cheap. August reports from Defense Express peg Russia's costs dropping from $300,000 in 2022 to just $70,000 by 2025. Others hint even lower, $50,000. Floods of these pests launch easy, pennies next to an Iskander's price. Ukraine's jets have downed them before, but standard loads? Overkill and extravagant. Feel the imbalance sting? Sidewinders on those F-16s, each $400,000 strong. Zap one Shahed, and Russia grins, forcing Ukraine to bleed $330,000 to $350,000 per hit. Enter the APKWS-2, a mere $35,000 marvel. It undercuts the drone's tag by $15,000 to $35,000, turning the tide economically. Sure, pods demand millions initially. But destroy just 57 to 133 Shaheds, and that investment flips positive. What if this clever shift exposes Russia's drone delusion next? Imagine skies littered with relentless buzzes, the acrid stench of burning fuel drifting from cheap drones that swarm like angry hornets. That's the harsh reality Ukraine faces daily, as Russian Shahed units hurl low-cost threats capable of evading detection. But what if Ukraine could shatter this overwhelming swarm cheaply, turning the tide without bleeding fortunes? To recap the upgrade's dawn, Ukraine's F-16s now sport sniper pods and APKWS-2 rockets, making them deadlier hunters in the skies. Yet, for now, it's efficiency over pure destruction they'll chase. These tools promise to blast Shahed drones and slime missiles slipping past defenses, offering a frugal shield that's long overdue. Ukraine craves a budget-savvy shield against evasive missiles and drones that dodge its existing nets. The missiles it slung from F-16s to down Shahed's drain treasuries like a greedy leech. A lone Russian Shahed or similar drone isn't expensive to craft. Defense Express noted in August Russia's Shahed production costs plunged from $300,000 in 2022 to just $70,000 in 2025. Some hints whisper even lower, around $50,000. No matter the exact figure, these are bargain weapons Russia deploys en masse, costing little. Picture dozens of Shaheds soaring for the price of a single Iskander missile. Ukraine has leaned on its F-16s to swat these pests, as we've detailed. But standard armaments on those jets aren't tailored for this task. They perform admirably, true. Still, the eye-popping expense of those missiles bleeds Ukraine dry each time a Shahed bites the dust. Consider the AI-9 Sidewinder, dotting many current F-16 inventories. Each Sidewinder tops out at $400,000, per reports. So, even if a Sidewinder obliterates a Shahed, it nets Russian gains. Russia effectively drains Ukraine of $330,000 to $350,000, swinging on Shahed build costs. Imagine losing a fortune per kill, the bitter sting of victory. Flashback to an August night in Kharkiv, roaring engines, sweat-drenched pilots gripping joysticks, the vibrations of launch echoing as precious missiles vanish into the night sky against cheap, disposable foes. That financial burn still haunts. Now stir in the APKWS-2. This laser-guided rocket builds for a mere $35,000. That's $15,000 to $35,000 below a Shahed's price tag. Here the APKWS-2 dazzles, a savvy slayer. Granted, Ukraine shelled out millions on sniper pods to amplify its punch. Yet, sheer math shows salvation. Destroy 57 to 133 Shaheds with this new arm, and those $2 million repay themselves, thanks to savings per strike. But can Ukraine truly flip the script on Russia's drone deluge? Will sniper pods expose stealthy swarms before they strike, or will radar tricks catch F-16s off guard in the final assault? Stay breathlessly tuned, for the numbers dance on a razor's edge. Imagine the sky cracking under the roar of jet engines, the distant buzz of deadly drones piercing the air like angry hornets. Ukraine's F-16 fighters, once hailed as unstoppable forces, now soar with devastating upgrades. Equipped with high-tech pods and rockets, they've turned the tide against Russia's relentless Shahed drones. But with Moscow launching swarms in unprecedented numbers, will these new weapons finally break Russia's grip on the skies? You've got to see this shocking calculation that humiliates Russia's cheap drone strategy. If it costs less to blow up a Shahed than the Shahed itself is worth, what's stopping Ukraine from turning the air into a financial slaughterhouse for Putin? Ukraine's new APKWS-2 rockets compared to Russia's Shahed drones create a math that's almost too perfect to believe. The rockets cost just $35,000 each. A Shahed? Anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000. That puts Ukraine in a profit zone faster than you think. But it's not just about one shot. It's about scaling up. And factoring in the rocketry overhead? Well, Ukraine's return on investment isn't fully in the black yet. Still, each successful hit against a Shahed edges them closer to reclaiming the skies financially. Plus, consider this, 5 AIM-9X Sidewinders could match the $2 million price of a sniper pod. Each Sidewinder clocks in at $400,000. So why waste fortunes when cheaper kills are on the horizon? Feels like a punch in the gut, doesn't it? That sinking realization that Ukraine might actually pay back those F-16 upgrades by downing just 57 to 133 Shaheds. Based purely on the price difference between rockets and drones. But is that even possible in the hellish reality of 2025's drone wars? Picture the stench of scorched earth, the taste of metal in the air from constant explosions. Russia's assaults have spiraled out of control this year, unlike anything before. Al Jazeera highlighted the brutality with data showing strikes ramping up month by month. Early 2025 started tame, 75 to 100 drones per attack, sometimes spiking to 185. Spring brought a slow creep, but 185 became the new normal. Then came 200 to 250 drones in salvos that rattled cities. Summer unleashed the horror. By late August, over a dozen Russian waves exceeded 300 drones apiece. Some blasted 400 unfit to 650. Early September? Moscow dropped what was then its all-time worst, over 800 Shaheds and long-range flyers swarming Ukraine like a plague. In total, 37,000 air raids hammered the country from January to early September alone. July broke Russia's own record for most drones in a single month. What does that mean for Ukraine's upgraded jets and their budget rockets? With Russia averaging 207 drones per day in peak periods, downing 70 or so Shaheds suddenly feels like child's play. Yet, as the drones keep coming, Ukraine faces a twist. Will these new tools hold against the assault? Or will the endless hum of impending doom force them to innovate faster than ever before? In a shocking revelation, Ukraine now boasts F-16 fighter jets armed with stealth upgrades that could humiliate Russia's drone onslaught. Imagine the skies over Ukraine humming with precision, where cost-effective weapons turn the tide against endless aerial swarms. This is the tale of upgraded war machines that slash costs while slicing through threats, exposing Russia's cheap tricks as futile. Will Ukraine's newfound edge end the drone nightmares, or will Russia unleash an even deadlier swarm? Starting where we left off, with Russia unleashing a relentless horde in July that shattered records and exposed the grim reality of drone warfare. The assaults saw over 800 Shahed-type and long-range drones rain down, averaging 207 per day across 31 days. All in all, Russia launched 37,000 air attacks on Ukraine from January to early September 2025. That month alone smashed past records, flooding the skies with projectiles that threatened cities and lives. Ukraine endured this barrage, but now, imagine the pivot. Destroying 57 to 133 Shaheds might just break even on the upgrades. Can you feel the chill of anticipation as Ukraine's pilots eye this shift? What if reversing costs flips the battlefield? Yet tensions linger. The wind howls with unanswered threats. Who's next to strike? Continuing directly from that apocalyptic July, where 6,443 drones in 31 days pummeled defenses, proving Russia's unyielding production doom. September unveiled a chilling intelligence report. Russia churns out up to 2,700 Shahed drones monthly. Picture the factories whirring, engines roaring, as faceless dummies divert defenders from lethal real ones. This excludes Iranian purchases and other drone strains, underscoring Russia's vast arsenal. To amplify devastation, they hit on December 6 just as Ukraine's upgrades emerged. Over 650 drones and 51 missiles struck overnight, a roaring storm that deafened hope. The scale? Mind-boggling, with fiery explosions scarring the night. How does Ukraine counter such fury without breaking? What twist could expose Russia's vulnerability? Pause, the air thickens with smoke and regret. Building on that massive December bombardment, Russia timed its fury to taunt Ukraine's progress. Guardian's report highlighted F-16 pilots neutralizing 1,300 missiles and drones from August 2024 to November 2025. Pilots mastered the jets swiftly, transforming them into sharp tools against aggression. But effectiveness clashes with economics. Though data lacks specifics on missiles used versus cannon fire, even a quarter destroyed with Sidewinders in July would drain $130 million. Enter APKWS2, slashing costs to $11.375 million. Feel the grind of gears turning fortunes, the sting of past losses. Why does Russia persist in this expensive gamble? An unexpected betrayal lurks. Could proxies collapse their empire? And then, whispers of tighter sanctions twist the blade. Imagine a war where Western fighters transform into unstoppable predators, blasting through swarms of enemy drones like a storm raging across the sky. Ukraine's F-16s, once a glimmer of hope, are now upgraded beasts with precision weapons that turn the tide against Russia's relentless assaults. These jets patrol the heavens, shredding missiles and drones in epic numbers, while striking deep into enemy lines. But now, with devastating new gear, advanced sniper pods and cost-saving rockets, they're even deadlier. Russia won't see it coming, humiliated as its cheap drones crumble before affordable firepower. Will Ukraine finally dominate the skies, forcing Russia to retreat in panic? Building on the last segment. Ukraine's F-16s have obliterated hundreds of Russian projectiles, from drones to missiles, mixing missile strikes with cannon fire. Yet, this victory circles back to soaring costs, as exact numbers of used missiles versus cannon hits remain shrouded. Even assuming a low count per sortie. What if a single cheeky drone could bankrupt an entire air defense? Picture the thrill, the sting, of an F-16 pilot locking onto a low-slung Russian Shahed, its engines glow piercing the night like a flaming arrow. The smell of ozone lingers in the cockpit as triggers itch to pull. Shocking question, has Russia unleashed hordes of cheap killers, drowning Ukraine in a tide that costs peanuts to build but fortunes to stop? Humiliate the foe, turn their swarm into scrap with these game-changers. Twist incoming, a Ukrainian jet can now unleash 14 Savage rockets instead of just 6, flipping the battlefield in a blink. Even if just a quarter of Russia's onslaught, those 325 screaming drones, got zapped by old Sidewinder missiles, the bill racks up a dizzying $130 million. The air feels heavy with wasted potential, fingers trembling over controls that bleed cash. With the new APKWS2 in play, slashed that to a mere 11.375 million. Hear the engine's roar soften into a triumphant hum? The sniper pods justify every spent dime, sharpening Ukraine's F-16s into razors that glide undetected. Twist, boost efficiency, turning potential defeat into dominance. Dive deeper. Each F-16 now hauls 14 APKWS-2 rockets, as per F-16.net's vault of data. Boots shift in the seat, the weight of power thrums like a heartbeat. That dwarfs the 6 Sidewinders it once tolerated, delivering over twice the sizzle for a whisper of the price. Imagine wiping out 14 Shahid clones per sortie, plus extras from other arms, a juggernaut amid Russia's 2024 aerial floods. Pause. The pods aren't just add-ons, they're visionaries spotting Shahids skimming treetops, where radar fades like a whisper. The ground's cool earth contrasts the drone's fiery trail, infrared lenses seizing it miles out, puckering skin at the chill of precision. Conflict brews, these are the elusive drones crushing Ukraine's defenses lately, slipping past ground radars like ghosts. We don't speculate, facts sting. On November 12, Ukraine Business News cropped cold numbers. October's interception rate plummeted to 80%, Russia's volume blitz roaring unchecked since early 2024. Feel the frustration, the wind-whipping faces as jets scramble too late. F-16s chipped in. But old loadouts crippled them. Now, 14 APKWS-2 pack a punch, torpedoing more of Russia's. What fate awaits their aerial empire? Unexpected turn, Ukraine's stealthy upgrades could humiliate Russia, turning drone kings into desperate paupers. Cliffhanger, as skies darken with retaliation, will Russia survive this awakening? Ukraine's fighter jets are leveling up, with deadly new upgrades that could crush Russia's aerial swarms. Is this the turning point we've been waiting for, or just another tease in a brutal war? Picture the roar of engines piercing the cold air, the acrid stench of burning fuel as F-16 slice through smoke-filled skies. Russia's army, once arrogant, now faces a nightmare they can't escape. But can these jets really shift the tide, or will hidden flaws humiliate the invaders before dawn breaks? In Part 1, we saw Ukraine welcome F-16 jets as potential game-changers, yet they haven't ended the conflict. Now, they're patrolling relentless skies, obliterating drones and missiles by the dozen. Defensive strikes batter Russian lines, keeping hope alive. But Russia dismisses them as flashy toys, a grave mistake. Imagine the bitter cold biting at your skin, frost clinging to controls as pilots grip joysticks tight. How much longer can Putin's forces sneer at these warriors before reality shatters their illusions? The smell of ozone and oil fills the cockpit, engines vibrating like thunder. Will these jets expose Russia's cheap tricks, or is there a snap in their armor? Shocking fact, F-16s have wiped out more invaders' toys than ever, but Russia's drones keep coming. Did their leaders underestimate the gamble? The rage builds as Ukraine's defenders hunt shadows in the night. In Part 2, we explored that promise turning into reality. New spooky sightings hint at monstrous upgrades. On December 5, US 24 media spotted modified jets. Advanced targeting pods glitter under the sun. Ready for action. Imagine the click of switches, the hum of systems awakening. Does this new gear terrify Russia, or will they brush it aside like fools? AVOFN Telegram claims to glimpse the truth. F-16 AMBN from 107 UAC launches AIM-9X. An AQ-33 sniper pod shines bright. LAU-131 carries HYDRA-70 APKWS-2. Up to 14 vicious missiles. They shatter drones cheaply, the channel boasts. Feel the rush of air, the distant boom of impacts. Can Ukraine finally outsmart Russia's swarm tactics, or is pride blinding them? Twist, this isn't just defense, offense looms, ready to humiliate invaders at their weakest. In Part 3, we delved into these pods unlocking power. Sniper pods boast infrared eyes, spotting stealthy threats no radar catches. Thermal heat from engines glows oddly against dark earth, invisible no more. Cameras capture daylight savagery, joining existing radars and jammers. Costly at $2 million each? Yet, they sharpen a PKWS-2 to laser precision. Pause, that's $35,000 per rocket, versus $400,000 for rivals. Smell the singed air from targeted strikes, hear motors whine as targets vanish. Rhetorical question, if Russia laughed at these jets before, what now as drones burn futilely? Vulnerabilities exposed, a haunting realization creeps in. Their defenses tremble as pilots track Shahid drones from miles away, no radar needed. Russia can't pinpoint them easily, risking stealth assaults on rear lines. Yet, Ukraine eyes defense first. These tools counter cheap hordes. Shaheeds drop to 70,000 each, fired en masse. But F-16s waste fortunes on pricey missiles. Feel the pilot's gloved hands tighten, screens illuminating hidden horrors. Will Russia's low-cost floods drown Ukraine, or can these upgrades flip the script? Hidden twist, offense might awaken sooner than thought, trapping conquerors in their own traps. In Part 4, we uncovered the sniper pod's genius. They pierce low-flying enigmas, where radars fail. Russia's massive barrages drop interception rates to 80%, drowning defenders in volume. But 14 APKWS-2 per pod outshoots 6 Sidewinders, multiplying kills per flight. Math favors Ukraine. More weapons mean more shattered swarms. Pause, targeting dastardly low-flyers boosts rates against Putin's hordes. Vibrations ripple through the fuselage, distant thunder echoing victories. Rhetorical question, does Russia tremble, knowing airspace leaks, or do they charge blindly into the maw? Humiliation brews as foes scatter, exposed to fiery justice. Broader boon looms, compatibles with future crafts like Rafale, per BAE specs. France pledges 100 Rafales over a decade, a deal from November 17. Potential integration blurs lines. We don't know if BAE refines it, but possibilities ignite. Ukraine's Air Force mighty, foreshadowing Putin's feudal grip. Defensive prowess solidifies, yet offense tempts. Russia tasted pain in southern Mykolaiv. Ukraine lured them in, F-16s erupting in hellfire. Smell charred earth, hear agonized cries fading. Will this signal Russia's swan song, disgraced invaders routed? Epic twist unveils, these aren't ends, but births of something earth-shaking. Ukraine's skies, now a vortex of retribution, swallow empires whole. Whispers of more contraptions hint at cataclysm. Stay tuned, warriors, as the storm rages eternal. Imagine the deafening roar of aircraft engines slicing through the air, the acrid smell of exhaust lingering in tension-filled cockpits. Remember that pivotal moment in early 2024 when Russia's relentless drone onslaught reached an 80% success rate? It exposed the grim reality of overwhelming defenses through sheer numbers. Ukrainian F-16 stepped in, but their loadout limitations held them back. And then came the game-changer, 14 APKWS-2 rockets per pod, poised to turn the tide against Putin's swarm. Can these upgrades truly shatter the cycle of costly intercepts and humiliating losses for Ukraine? In the heart of this aerial clash, Ukrainian pilots now unleash fury from the skies. A single F-16 sortie armed with APKWS-2 could vaporize more than 6 Shahed drones compared to the pricey AIM-9X Sidewinders. The math paints a brutal picture. Is Russia finally outmatched? Feel the pilot's grip tighten on the controls, the chill of high altitude seeping through gloves, as radar pings echo like mocking laughter. More weapons mean more targets obliterated, a symphony of explosions raining down. If Ukraine targets low-flying Shaheeds and long-range menaces evading other defenses, interception rates could soar again. Putin's hordes might keep coming, but each attack feels less inevitable now. Suddenly, a flashback floods the mind, the stinging bite of cold steel on a pilot's skin during a desperate dogfight in 2023, the bitter tang of fear in the air as missiles whirred past unchallenged. No more. Ukraine's F-16s roar forward, empowered. And the benefits don't stop there. Ukraine could potentially mount APKWS-2 on other Western platforms soon. Why settle for one jet when the arsenal expands? A BAE Systems brochure teases compatibility with France's Dassault Rafale. On November 17, Ukraine and France sealed a deal for 100 Rafale jets. Picture this twist, future integration of sniper pods and APKWS-2 into those sleek fighters. Are we witnessing the dawn of an Air Force overhaul, spelling doom for Putin's dreams? Before the Rafale integration becomes reality, consider the cliffhanger. What if Russia adapts faster, flooding the skies with even cheaper threats? Ukrainian forces must act swiftly. Each redeemed dollar from this upgrade builds unbreakable momentum. Dive deeper into the cost-saving miracle. Imagine the tactile thrill of a $35,000 APKWS-2 hitting home, far cheaper than a $400,000 AIM-9X. That's $15,000 to $35,000 less per Shahed downed, turning the tables on Russia's budget bombs. With sniper pods at $2 million each, Ukraine breaks even after sinking 57 to 133 drones. The crisp hum of targeting systems signals efficiency unrivaled. Rhetorical question looms: why bleed millions when precision pays dividends? The high-explosive warhead, Mach 3 speed at 2,236 miles per hour, ensures unstoppable destruction from miles away. Flashback grips once more, the overwhelming noise of dozens of Shahids buzzing like angry insects in 2024, their cheap construction at $50,000 stressing every defensive line. But now, the upgrade whispers of revenge. Russia's strategy collapses under the weight of UAVs costing less than Iskanders. Ukraine's counter, not just survival, but dominance. Will this be the humiliation Putin never saw coming? As the Vietnamese coastline recedes in memory, wait, no focus on the future. Rafale compatibility isn't confirmed, but it tantalizes with BAE Systems hints. Could Rafale pilots soon wield the same lethal combo? Imagine the jet's sleek form slicing through clouds, armed identically. This potential unleashes a humiliating blow for Russia, as Ukraine's air power multiplies. The emotional swell rises, from desperation to triumph, a story of ingenuity rising. But wait, what hidden vulnerability lingers in Russia's arsenal, ready to counter this edge? Stick with us as tensions escalate, prying open secrets that could redefine the war's endgame. In our last dive, since 2024, Ukraine's drone interception wins have dipped to a mere 20% success. That's right, Russia's sheer numbers game outmatches defenses. F-16 saved the cause, yet weapon limits stifle full power. Now, with pods enabling 14 APKWS-2 rockets per jet, one sortie could smash more Russian threats than ever. Can you picture the deafening roar as an upgraded jet soars, poised to claim dominance in skies ravaged by relentless foes? What if Ukraine's cunning tweak isn't just a fix, it's a humiliating blow that turns Russia's swarm advantage into a costly joke, erasing miles of threats with every precise strike? Flashback to a tense patrol in crisp Ukrainian dawn. Feel the icy bite of altitude against your skin, the guttural hum of engines vibrating through the cockpit grips. Smell the metallic tang of aviation fuel mixing with distant earth. In that memory, a pilot's breath catches Russian Shahid drones buzz like angry hornets, looping low to dodge radars. But with new eyes, heat's signatures betray them, searing bright against the cool morning glow. Rhetorical question lingers. How has Russia dared overpower with budget toys? Yet, Ukraine answers with genius. Picture this. Each F-16 carries up to 14 of these game-changers now. With sidewinders, maybe 6 drones fall per flight. But 14 APKWS-2? Double or more cut down in one go. Short sentences. Pause. No other arms needed yet. Math? Crystal clear. Sparking potential for interception climbs anew, halting Putin's weekly torrent. Why so vital? Ukraine spots gaps. Low flyers and far-reachers slip past. Upgraded jets target exactly these gaps. APKWS-2 shimmers here, Martin, affordable at $35,000 each. Shahid costs? Down to $70,000 or less in 2024. Sometimes as low as $50,000. Gross, isn't it? Russia hurls dozen same as one costly Iskander. Ukraine bleeds fortune on pricier foes. Sidewinder hits Shahid? Losses soar $330,000 to $350,000. Bigger guns worse. But APKWS? Profit zone. Even after sinking millions in pods, Ukraine recoups fast. Destroy 57 to 133 Shahids, boom, break even. Feel that sweet rush of outsmarting a bully. A twist emerges, hinting Ukraine's edge widens. What sparks it? Rafale offer. France pledges 100 Dassault Rafale jets. Standard model, yes. Delivered over a decade? Starting soon. Intrigue mounts. BAE Systems docs tease inferred compatibility for APKWS. Rafale? Possible fusion. Pods and rockets? Linkable. Ukraine eyes this leap. Rafale plus upgrades? Stealth raids potential, dodging radars fully. Sensory flood returns. Imagine pilots' hands firm on triggers, wind-whipping visor. Drones faint worse cut by rocket whistles. Smoke trails crisp air, victory's whistle faint. Emotional swell, from dread to exhilaration. Climb interception, topple mass tactics. Russia? Enraged, sensing shift. Cliffhanger creeps. But Russia adapts, whisper of new swarms, harder to halt. Will Rafale integration spark real? Ukraine's jets evolve, yet Putin's gambit darkens. Can Ukraine's spark survive the shadow, or does a counterstrike lurk unseen? In our last segment, Ukraine's F-16 pods now unleash 14 APKWS-2 rockets each, shattering loadout limits. Drones fall faster, costs dive, math favors Kyiv. But potential blooms. Eyeing Rafale jets for future sink. Can you envision skies trembling as an F-16 dashes through a storm of metallic foes, scattering Russia's cheap tricks like autumn leaves? Shocking truth, Ukraine's upgrade isn't upgrade, it's a masterful theft of strength, flipping swarms into savings, each strike a slap to Moscow's strategy, leaving drones grounded in financial folly. Flashback to a grueling October night in 2023. Hear the sharp crackle of far-off explosions echoing like thunder. Taste salt-tinged air from distant waterways, fingers numbing on console from the jet's cold vibration. A pilot recalls Russia's barrages ripple skyward, drones humming insistent, their glow betraying them against starless black. Now, sharper sight pierces that veil, turning panic into control. Why pause here? Apocalypse in affordability looms. Shades argue Rafale? Beyond mere jets. BAE's brochure, subtle nod, Rafale joins compatible list. Ukraine counts stroke of luck. 100 incoming slowly, yet APL wash-eye combines possible. Pods and rockets? Seamlessly pair. Open stealth paths, radar-free hunts. Rhetorical spur, will this blend ignite offensive roar, or die in protocol? Intrigue builds, integration whispers of BAE's intent, spurred by F-16 use. Rafale may mirror, deepening Ukraine's toolkit. Sensory tsunami floods crows. Pilot senses jet shudder underweight, smells ozone from rocket's wake. Emotions crest, from cautious hope to defiant glee. Twist? Rafale's delay masks Russia's looming response, perhaps countermeasures brewing. Cliffhanger lingers, if combined fleets soar, Putin's plans crumble, yet unseen twists await. Sabotage or silence? Ukraine's victory teeters, will the East react, or is this just prelude to chaos?